Welcome back. Well, the government shutdown now in its 10th day have economists warning of real disruptions to business. Some companies are now facing payment delays and considering layoffs. Official data is delayed, though Wall Street is trying to fill the void, of course. The Wall Street Journal out with a piece this morning titled "The Unofficial Jobs Numbers Are In, and It's Rough Out There." Writing, in the federal data void, Bank of America this week said it is seeing signs of rising unemployment and slowing job growth in its customers' data. Goldman Sachs said its measure of labor market tightness fell last month back to levels seen in 2015, indicating a tough landscape for job seekers, writes Goldman. The September ADP report, of course, last week showed that the U.S. lost 32,000 private sector jobs. We did not get the labor report from the Labor Department because of the shutdown. Joining me now is National Trade Association CEO Jason Altmire. Jason, good to see you. Thanks for being here. How do you see the shutdown impacting jobs in the labor market?
It makes a big difference to not have that data. When the government is unable to release the jobs report, information on the economy related to inflation. Next week, the export and import numbers are supposed to come out. We may now have a delay in next month's job numbers because of the shutdown. And we're building again in this country. We're moving forward. There's a lot of manufacturing that's occurring. And for people to make investment decisions and business decisions, they're going to need accurate data. So this is a big problem.
Yeah, and that goes back to President Trump's efforts to get trade schools up and running. I mean, the president highlighted the need for more trade schools in the U.S. He recently announced a tentative deal with Harvard to restore $2.4 billion in frozen federal money. Harvard will now invest $500 million to launch and run trade schools, ending a long-running clash over affirmative action and discrimination against Jewish students. Jason, you've been outspoken about the need for more trade schools. Many people point out that AI cannot replace trade skills like being an engineer, being an electrician, being a plumber. Your thoughts on these trade schools and what will come of it?
For too long, we have told students in this country that the four-year path, that four-year college degree was the optimum route, that was the preferred career path. But now we are increasing manufacturing in this country. It's estimated that there will be 2 million vacancies over the next 10 years in manufacturing. We're building thousands of data centers, semiconductor chips, all across this country, and we need welders, we need truck drivers, we need electricians, we need aviation and auto technicians. There's a critical shortage of healthcare workers and nurses in this country. And it's time to get these trade schools the support that they need. And all over the country, you're seeing that happen. And I've been gratified by the renewed emphasis that the president has placed on trade schools and that businesses and even in the education system where there's a renewed vigor towards that career path that's going to lead people into jobs that are not going to be replaced by AI. They're hands-on jobs for men and women all across this country.
I think it's a great point. And Todd Pyro, jump in here on this because President Trump made this a priority. I mean, we're doing more manufacturing because of Trump's policies on manufacturing in the United States. And let me tell you, these trade school jobs like an electrician, these are high-paying jobs, Todd.
Yeah, and I guess my follow-up on the Harvard investment is, Jason, are we going to see what I'm going to refer to as tiers of trade school training? In other words, like, is a Harvard-connected trade school going to be more valuable in the marketplace than another kind of trade school training? Like, you know, I'm not saying in all instances, but in many instances, if you see somebody with that Ivy League degree, at least in the past, you sort of said, oh, they must be smart, they must be good at the job. Do you see that translating to the trade schools?
Well, we need all hands on deck, and I would welcome Harvard's involvement. It's certainly, the money doesn't have to come from Harvard, but if the president works out an arrangement where they want to operate a trade school, I would assume they would be able to do it pretty well in this country. But we have three things happening all at the same time. We have an aging workforce. The average welder and skilled tradesman in this country is over 50 years old. We have a lack of people coming into the system, and we have an exploding manufacturing base in this country with infrastructure, with those data centers and semiconductors. And we need these trade schools all over the country. So if Harvard wants to get in the game, that's great. Have at it. But I do think there is a renewed emphasis on it. There's a lot of leadership in the country that you're seeing. And people now understand that that is a viable, well-paying, sustainable career path in a way that I don't think people understood before.
So tell me, Jason, because you've studied so much of this, what are the jobs that are most in demand? You said electrician. And I get that. With all of the expanding energy needs that we have with AI, we need many, many more electricians. What other trade school-related jobs do you see in the most highest demand?
There's an 80,000 vacancy shortage for truck drivers. As I mentioned, if you look at auto and aviation technicians, there's enormous shortages. The building trades, plumbers, electricians, HVACs, enormous shortages. And I would also mention on the healthcare side, nurses and the allied health professions. Yeah. And I always use the example, if you're sitting on the runway at the airport, you're looking at those men and women working on your airplane, you want two things. You want them to be really good at what they do, and you want there to be a lot of them. And that is what trade schools do.
Love it. I do love this story. And these are high salaries. What's the average salary right now, would you say, for an electrician or a truck driver?
Well, when you come out of school, of course, you have to build it up. But you can make six figures in those jobs over time.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Maria.
Jason Altmire joining us. Quick break, and then President Trump declaring Italian